Southern Girl is what that was. Ahead of that, it was Pez. Hell yeah, it was Pez.
Yeah.
That's that, don't F with me music right there.
That's exactly right.
When I listen to that kind of stuff, and I don't listen to a lot of music.
Right.
Because I'm here.
Right.
I got all the music I need right here.
Right.
And some of it I listen to and really dig. Some of it not so much.
Correct.
Everybody has their proclivities about what they like. And we talked about it earlier as, celebrating the 45th anniversary. God damn, I can't believe this. 45 years of Sex Pistols, right? Never mind the Bollocks.
God.
I mean, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around that.
Well.
And when you listen to this record, and it's been years since I sat down and listened to it stem to stern.
Yeah.
It slaps. It's a hell of a record.
Yeah.
It really is. And this isn't... There's a lot of Midtown Memphis punk in that record.
Yeah.
Maybe one influenced the other. I don't know.
Right.
There was a lot of thought that went into what
they were doing.
What Jones was doing, and Cook, and what's his name? McLaren, I think, was all part of that. I mean, Sid Vicious is not on that record.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
He joined after that.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember which one. Was it McLaren that they pushed out? Or one of them, and then Sid showed up, which made the whole thing fall apart.
Yeah.
With all of his problems. He died at the age of 21.
He was 21?
Yeah. And they after all the political trouble they'd gotten into. And you're sitting there and you have to remember when you're listening to this stuff, this was 1977.
Right.
So the music of the day is reflective of the things that were going on.
Right.
And it's it's good old-fashioned, straight ahead, 4 on the floor punk rock.
Right.
There's no fooling around here.
Right.
And after they got dropped by their label, they had this record. They decided to come to the United States on a tour.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't get booked in a lot of places because of their reputation as being dangerous fellas, and that was what they were.
Yeah, right.
So they only got booked in the Deep South, which is odd. They played Memphis it was either late 77 or early 78. They played here, and they played at a place that doesn't even exist anymore. It was the something ballroom, and it was the Taco Bell on Union that's near where the Red Hook is, that big that mansion looking thing. That Taco Bell was the location of a theater, and they played there, and the city of Memphis freaked. They freaked out. There's only a couple of stories. You have to dig for them, but you can find them. And the city council freaked out, and there was law enforcement like, oh my God, the Sex Pistols are coming to Memphis. This is going to be out of control. This is going to be wild.
In the 70s, yeah.
And they were scared to death of this happening. And they showed up. There was an opening act. The Pistols played for maybe an hour. They got back on their bus and they left without incident.
And
and the place, there was people out in the parking lot that were trying to get in because it was the Pistols, for God's sake. Everybody had heard so much about them. And one of the articles I'd read was from one of the writers of the paper at the time, said that he had to sort of enjoy the show from in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get in.
It was too packed.
And there were cops everywhere. They were almost in the way. They were expecting something. They were wanting something to happen.
Yeah, they were wanting something.
And nothing did, of course. It was just an old-fashioned rock and roll show. But they left here and ultimately went to San Francisco where they played their last show.
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny Rotten came out. They had to drag everybody out on stage at the beginning of this thing. And Johnny said, ever feel like you've been ripped off? You just did. They played one song and left, and the band was over. That's how that band ended. Which is like the most punk thing.
Wow. Yeah, it really is. I mean, man.
And it wasn't
We're gonna play one song, fuck you.
It wasn't done as a way to be punk. It was that's just the way those guys were.
Yeah. Wow, that's weird.
And when you hear guys like Steve Jones talk about it, of course he played guitar for them, and he's in the radio business now. And when you hear him talk about it, he's like, if we'd have lasted any longer, none of us would be alive.
Oh, right.
None of us.
Yeah.
No, it was insane. It was out of control. They'd have to prop up Sid,
Right.
He was so... they had to put him on methadone at one point.
Really?
Just to even get through that tour through the U.S., that brief tour that it was.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. They had all of these weird rules about what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. And there were venues up in the Northeast that weren't going to have them because their notoriety was that they were just going to come in and
trash the place. Right.
And that's the whole notion in this business of about how appearance has so much more value than action.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'd learned was that a lot of times Sid didn't know what he was doing. He was a bass player. They taught him on the road how to play bass.
Really?
Yeah, they did. And there were times where Steve Jones would swap instruments with him and just say, just give me that. Just make open chords. I don't care what you do, because he could play a little bit of guitar.
Yeah.
You just do that. I'll play the bass.
I'll play the bass,
just to get us through this. Oh, it was crazy.
Oh, my God. I didn't know that.
Crazy. And then now you had this, they were put in this unique position because they were a global phenomena for 18 months. And everybody went crazy for this act.
18 months. I don't think I realized they were that short-lived.
They got together at the end of 1976 and they were done by 78. I mean, the record came out in 77.
And they're such a huge
in November
influence.
Of 77. Oh, they were a massive influence. Listen to the stuff that's real punk now or real rock and roll.
Right.
And when you, like I said, when you go back and listen to Nevermind the Bollocks and hear that and hear what they were doing, there's a remastered version of that record that's out now, which is good because it cleans up a lot of the
crappy.
Well, the tack.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a well-made record, but it's not, it's not what you think. You might remember it from the 70s or 80s when you've discovered it, but listening to it in 2022, it hits different. There was an incident. Was it the Queen's Silver Jubilee? I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
That they were involved in.
Uh-huh.
Well, what had happened was, and there's video of this, or film, you can find it. They rented a boat, and they put it on the Thames River there in London, and the Thames goes through London, and it goes there by the Houses of Parliament.
Right.
And I believe it's not terribly far from Buckingham Palace. And I think it's the video for God Save the Queen, which was the big hit. And they're rolling down the river playing. They've got gear, and they're just loud and it's during the Jubilee celebration because it's.
Well, yeah, right.
They were anti-establishment. They were anarchists.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it was. Anarchy in the USA, or anarchy in the UK, excuse me. That was their thing. And it freaked out the British people so much that the police came and they were like trying to corral this boat. And they were trying to arrest everybody.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, my God, yes. That's when music, think about it, is so dangerous in its appearance that it scares the shit out of the old people.
And see, I think that's weird that music does that.
Did that? It doesn't.
No. It still does. No, there's people
maybe in really conservative countries in the Middle East. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even conservative people here get all bent out of shape.
But there's no laws against it.
No. And
the police aren't going to come unless you're a noise problem.
Right.
It's that kind of thing. But back then, though, they were like, "Oh, we can't have this. That's the Queen you're dealing with over here." And they're like, "Yeah, fuck her.
We don't care.
We don't care at all."
Yeah.
If you can, also when you go down some of the rabbit hole, which I did, some of the short interviews with Johnny Rotten is it's hilarious. You got these guys; they're sensible BBC reporters, and they're trying to ask him questions, and he's a smart, well-spoken guy. Always has
John
been.
Lydon, yeah.
And he turns the tables on these reporters and he said, "Well, what? Tell me about your fashion, the type of clothes you wear." And he says, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the guy said something, he goes, well, I think you're doing this to become dangerous. And he says, I don't give a shit what you think.
Right.
And that was
the whole point
That's
of it.
the whole point of
Right.
of what had happened, if you'll pardon the expression. But that's,
Yeah. I don't care what you think about me.
I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
And the more I was just enjoying the hell out of this, the more I got to thinking about how, in a way, the music industry, specifically rock and roll, has lost its way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, rock goes back and forth, and it's kind of dead right now. It'll come back at some point.
I think it will. And I want to see more serious musicians get into it.
Sure. And not that these guys weren't all that serious. They weren't, but they were able to cobble together
Right.
pretty decent sounding record. I mean, it's 40 minutes of beating the hell out of it.
Right.
And it's, like I said, it's well produced. It's a pretty clean record by today's standards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's some funny shit going on in there, but it made me kind of miss the times when rock musicians came out, cranked it up, and went for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without the digital tricks, without the auto tune, without the pyro, without all of the
put on a show.
They came out and what you saw was what you got.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were loud.
Yes.
And they were in your face, and they were meant to scare the shit out of old people. And that's exactly what they did.
That's right.
That's why when Negro Terror was in here right before Omar died.
Yeah.
And they were in here, and they brought one of the songs over, and there were 3 of them in here. And I said, on this radio station, I said, what I adore about you guys is that you're scaring the shit out of old white people.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, man.
Right.
That's the power of it.
Yeah. Right.
And we're not seeing that anymore.
No. And art is supposed to make people think. And hopefully music can do the same thing,
yeah.
And if it scares them,
so be
okay
it.
too.
So be it. And at that point, they didn't care about selling records. They didn't care about any of that. They were just living this life that they were along for the ride for. And then there's that whole notion of, and this is something that I know a lot of people do. I'm one of them. Imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that creeps
You and I have talked about that a lot.
And it comes into the music industry quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, wow, you want me to play with these guys? I don't know how that I could do this, and they're actually better than what they think.
Mm-hmm.
These guys didn't give a shit.
Yeah, they just did.
They just did. And if people came, people came.
Right.
And it's so easy to get caught up in imposter syndrome. And like I said, I deal with it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But I have learned to try and put that, try and contain that. And I shouldn't give a shit.
Somewhat,
Yeah.
I do. But yeah, I mean.
We all do it, yeah.
And that just seems like an artist sort of thing.
It is.
That's really,
of course it is.
really.
And it's not just
and you
music.
see it everywhere. No, it's not.
No, physical artists,
Hell, Beth and I have even talked about that. She feels that too, with her job sometimes.
Sure.
And
oh my God, yeah, I've gotten into jobs or in position. They come to me and they say, "Hey, we want you to do this job." I'm like, "I've never done this before."
Right.
You want it? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take it. And then I go, like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've
done that
no
before,
idea
too.
what it is.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, what does it do when I do this?
Yeah.
Is somebody yelling at me? No.
Yeah.
And you spend your whole day looking over your shoulder waiting for somebody to go, "Hey, you fucked up."
Right. But it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. And that's sort of the difference here, because I'm fortunate to have, to be a part of this thing with Radio Memphis, is that I don't have that corporate weasel breathing down my neck.
Right.
And we do have the freedom. And I'll tell you, a funny thing happened about having been granted all of this freedom that we have over here, is that it's almost too much at times. And I find I have to dial it back a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I understand that.
To get too wild and crazy. I'm not going to sit here and play the same song over and over again either. And expanding the library was always our thing, and we've always done that because I didn't want it to be predictable, and to a certain extent, it's not. The only thing that I'm constantly managing is the business end of it, and it's the part I don't like.
Right, right.
It's like, follow your dreams and you'll never work a day in your life. Whoever said that bullshit?
Yeah.
No. I need a manager is what I need.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I need a personal assistant and a manager.
Yeah, well, thanks to digital technology, I got the personal assistant part down. But there's.
I just need to actually look at my phone occasionally.
you gotta
that
learn
would help
to get it to talk to you every once in a while.
Right.
Hey, dumbass, you need to do this. I need to change Siri's identification for me. Instead of my name, it should just say dumbass.
Dumbass.
Hey, dumbass, you have an interview at 4:00. What? That kind of thing. Speaking of, tonight, we have a Tuesday night special. Bobby Gentillo is going to be around with his brand new record. Bobby's with the Corn Lickers. And the Corn Lickers were the house band down in Coldwater, Mississippi. I think at Reds at one point. I don't have my notes in front of me right now. But Bobby's been with them, and the Corn Lickers did a lot of stuff down in Argentina and Colombia. And they were the backing band for R.L. Boyce.
Really?
For a long time. Not the other R.L. R.L. Boyce is still alive.
Right.
Plays down in Como. But Bobby has been their guitar player forever, and Bobby's got a solo record, and he's going to come in here tonight with a guitar. He may have a band. I don't know. And we've got his record. His brand new record. So we're going to do a release on that. We're going to sneak it out there tonight, and we're going to have a chat with Bobby this evening. So that starts at 7 p.m. Central here at Radio Memphis. So tune in for that. That'll be fun.
Right on.
There you go. Keeping the rock and roll dream alive. Of course, it's blues with these guys, but still, it's rock and roll.
Right.
All right, we'll pause. We'll be back. The Nooner has arrived. Things here on this Tuesday. This good-looking Tuesday. It's going to be 80 this weekend. Right on, brother.
And that's so unbelievable. It was like 40 last night. I got chilly.
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't turned on any heat or AC.
I haven't either.
But I had a window cracked and a little fan.
I just gave MLGW my firstborn.
Oh, did you?
God almighty. Still paying for that winter storm. We haven't run the heat or the air conditioner.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I haven't either.
You want how much? Really?
Yeah.
Have y'all lost your mind?
I know.